Have you ever read a story about a millionaire who dropped out of college and became wildly successful? Or seen an Instagram post where someone made a fortune in crypto by following one simple rule? These stories are inspiring. They make us believe we can do it too if we just replicate their steps. But I'm here to tell you that following these tales is one of the most dangerous traps for your brain, because you are only looking at the survivors, while ignoring the thousands who failed. Today on Clarity Corner, we break down the survivorship bias, a cognitive distortion that forces you to make terrible decisions in business, investing, and even personal safety. The historical example, Abraham Wald. To understand how powerful this bias is, let's go back to World War II. The British and American Air Forces needed to reinforce their bombers to withstand enemy fire. But if they covered the entire plane in steel armor, it would become too heavy and wouldn't be able to fly. Engineers studied the planes that returned from missions. They saw that specific parts, the wings, the fuselage, had heavy concentrations of bullet holes. The logical conclusion? These are the spots we need to reinforce with armor because they are the most vulnerable. But then a brilliant mathematician named Abraham Wald stepped in. He looked at the exact same data and said, "No, you are looking in the wrong place. The spots you need to reinforce are the ones that have no bullet holes." Wald explained, "The planes that were hit in those critical areas, like the engine or the fuel tank, did not return. The planes you are seeing are the survivors. They were able to fly home despite getting hit in the wings. This means hits to the engine are fatal, and those are the areas we must protect." That is the survivorship bias in its purest form. So, what exactly is the survivorship bias? It is a logical error where we draw conclusions based only on analyzing the successful surviving objects and completely ignore the failed perished objects. Our brain does this for two key reasons. Information availability. Success stories are always more accessible. A successful startup gets headlines. A bankrupt one does not. Emotional appeal. We want to believe that the path to success is straightforward and simple. Survivor stories confirm that belief. As a result, we create false connections. We see a successful person and think, "He only wears black turtlenecks, so I should too." We fail to see the millions of people who wore black turtlenecks and achieved nothing special. We focus on the light, but we ignore the darkness from which that light struggled to escape. The survivorship bias is everywhere, and it is costing you money. Example 1. Business and startups. You read the biographies of Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. You decide that to succeed, you must be a demanding tyrant, skip sleep, and work 24/7. But you don't see the 99% of founders who worked 24/7 and failed. We celebrate the survivors, but their methods do not guarantee success. Example 2. Investing and crypto. Your friend boasts that he bought coin X and made 1,000%. You rush to buy it. But you don't know about the 100 other speculative coins he bought that vanished. You are only seeing the one successful shot. Example 3. Product reviews. You buy a product based solely on glowing online reviews. But who leaves reviews? People who are either ecstatic or furious. You miss the massive, silent majority who just use the product normally. Their moderate, balanced opinion is completely unaccounted for. How can you avoid this trap and make better, more level-headed decisions? There are 3 simple questions you must train yourself to ask. Where is the data? Always look for data on those who did not succeed. Before investing, actively seek out stories of how others lost their money in that exact venture. What am I missing? If you are presented with a success story, ask, who was filtered out at this stage? Like Wald's planes that never returned. Is this a rule or an exception? Is what you are seeing a universal principle, a rule, or is it a very rare anomaly? Success achieved by dropping out of college is an exception. The survivorship bias teaches us that the most dangerous enemy is an incomplete picture. True clarity only comes when we are willing to look at the failures just as closely as we look at the triumphs. That's all for today. Hit the subscribe button for Clarity Corner so we can continue to break down the sneakiest traps of your own mind. See you next time.